Hi, my name is Peyton Huntsman, and my speech today is going to be on the history of supercars and sports cars. So, this is my audience. This is my mom on the left, my brother, my dad, and my niece. Okay, so my talk today is going to be an informative speech about supercars. So let's start off with the big question a lot of people have. What is a supercar? Well, based off of the Continental Ferrari dealership's website, they say that a supercar is any high horsepower car that is limited in numbers and is normally imported. So that would be your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, your McLarens, your Porsches, anything that has some sort of racing heritage that puts out over 300 horsepower. While I kept doing more research onto it, I went on to Drive Tribe, which is a website kind of like Reddit, but specifically made and geared towards cars. You can think of this as like an online newspaper, but you have to be certified in order to write into it. So Angelis Unicillo wrote on there, he's been in the supercar and hypercar scene since he was a little kid with his dad. He's always been racing cars, studying cars. He's been around cars his entire life, and specifically in the section of car reviews and he reviews cars, and then he'll go into detail and he drives the cars. It's kind of like Doug DeMuro on YouTube, who is a person who will go in and he's an automotive journalist. He goes in and he reviews, he sees, he says good things, bad things, and he just kind of talks about the overall points of the car and then gives a good or a bad. In his article online, he says that when you are in the car community and you're a petrol head, people who are into cars or a car enthusiast, you are able to classify a car within the first 10 to 15 seconds of looking at it. So for me, I can walk up to a car and be like, this is a sport car, a supercar, or a hypercar. We're not going to talk much about hypercars because they're very limited and you won't really see them that often. They're cars over $1 million and that only the most wealthiest of people own. So we're going to focus more on the supercar aspect. So the difference between a sports car and a supercar is like the difference between a Mustang and some car that is 6 figures or up. The way I classify a supercar is something that puts out over 400 horsepower from the factory stock, something that will be able to incorporate some sort of racing heritage and help you drive fast on the track. It's track oriented and meant to go fast around corners, in bends, but it's not always the safest vehicle to drive on the road. One reason that I think the supercar market is in danger and the car market overall is in danger is based off of the fact that the EPA just announced that they're going to be putting restrictions on any car part that modifies a car, whether it makes it louder, faster, anything that increases emissions will pretty much be outlawed. They'll find you, they'll find the seller, they'll find the buyer, they'll find anyone they can, but not the manufacturers of the parts. I think this is going to be extremely detrimental because the car market is a multi-billion-dollar industry. When you look at NASCAR, Le Mans, different sort of long racing, Baja racing, any sort of racing will be pretty much outlawed. And they're also announcing a bill that is going to make it to where you cannot modify a car from a factory in any way, shape, or form without it becoming illegal and the title becoming a salvage title. Now, personally, I think that Lamborghini has done the best job at keeping their racing heritage. Here are my reasons why. Lamborghini has kept one of the only cars that is a single clutch transmission. So one clutch, when you tap the thing, it would be like you driving a manual car. That's how it's going to feel. I think it is important because supercars weren't made to be the most useful and the most comfortable to ride in. They were made to go the fastest and be something that not everyone would want to drive, something that you have to have a certain level of skill to get in and be confident in. Lamborghini started in the 1960s. They started out with a car that no one really wanted to drive because Ferraris were out. And Lamborghini kind of started as Ferraris aren't the most comfortable to drive, so we're going to make our cars faster and a little bit more comfortable. But they didn't make it to where anyone could get in their car and drive it. Lamborghini also does the flip side, though. They have racing cars like the Huracan Super Trofeo, which is a dual clutch made for speed car. It is gonna be balls to the walls as fast as you can, and their racing series built around it. It is going to be very specific to the drivers with the most level of skill. Now, CarWow is another automotive journalist company, kind of like Doug DeMuro, except a bigger company. Now, Matt Watson is the owner of CarWow, the founder, and he does all the riding on his own. He talked about how the Lamborghini Aventador, or the one with the single clutch, is not the most comfortable to drive, but how he feels they weren't made to be driven. Me and him agree on this, that you don't need a supercar to be comfortable to ride in. You need a supercar that's going to be fast and give you a visceral experience that you're not going to experience in any sort of daily driver car. He talks about how, okay, the price point is more expensive, and most people spending 6.5 figures are going to want something that you have the ability to get in and drive for long road trips, but that's not why they were made. They were made to go on a track, drive around town, be an accessory almost. They're made to let you show everyone your persona and how you view yourself so they can get a glimpse of you, and I think that's really important. He also talks about how Lamborghini over the years has not led away from normal intakes. They have not added turbos to their car from the factory. They've just put more cylinders there. It makes it so it is harder to pass emissions, but the cars that they do get out are true to the roots. So that's why I think that supercars need to be saved, and that's a little bit of history on why they're in danger and what they are. I hope this helps you in being able to look at a car and say, this is the car I like, this is the car I don't. So yeah, thank you for watching my speech, and I'll flip the camera around to show my audience again.
That just clicked on.
Sorry, there was a notification that popped up. This is my mom, my brother, my dad, and my little niece. Sorry if there was any background noise. She got kind of noisy towards the end. Thank you for watching.